Table saw blades have angle adjustments. Usually you want them at 90 degrees, and if you want them more precisely at 90 degrees, then you can get square squinting. Then digital angle gauges are great. You zero them to the table, attach them magnetically to the table saw blade, and then you can dial them in to within 1/10 of a degree if you pick the right one. They don't all live up to that promise, some do. More on that in a second. And of course, they let you dial in any other angle that you might need. But today's video is not about this glorified circular saw. It's about the bandsaw. This is my grandfather and his bandsaw. When I was a kid, I would stand there absolutely enthralled watching him make cuts on this bandsaw, making all kinds of awesome stuff. It was my first introduction to woodworking. It's probably a meaningful portion of why I'm doing what I'm doing today. And I remember my grandfather saying that he wished he could upgrade his 3-wheel bandsaw to a big 2-wheel model. I have such a bandsaw now, and it's always the answer I give to what's your favorite tool. I absolutely love this thing. 11 inches of resaw capacity. It's fantastic. But that large cutting capacity does mean that the angle between the table and the blade is even more critical for some operations than on the table saw, because the arrow is compounded over a larger length. And I find that the option of using a square just because of where the adjustment is and the set of the teeth that kind of confuses the eye is even worse than the table saw. So I've got a really exciting new tool announcement today. It's called the Blade Square, and it attaches to the bandsaw blade with 8 small but very strong magnets. And it has a top platform precisely machined to 90 degrees to the blade, so that you can zero the same digital angle gauge to the blade and then adjust the table to 90 or to any other angle you want. Maybe you just made your first bandsaw box, you have an arbitrary angle that you cut by hand and you want to match the sweep on the base to the drawers. You can do that or anything else really precisely with the Blade Square. Let's tighten that up before we shoot this shot. You will probably not be terribly surprised to hear that in the description of this video there's a link to purchase the Blade Square and also its optional storage that keeps it docked and at the ready on a bandsaw. What is a little different this time is those are Amazon links. This is the first time that I've sent my product in to Amazon so that they can do the shipping for me, which is just something I don't have the bandwidth to do myself, and I'm not quite big enough to hire someone. It's something I really need to do. And there's also the benefit, you pay Amazon their cut, but people can find it organically on the platform. That's especially good on this one because lots of people will buy a digital angle gauge with the Blade Square, and then Amazon will start to recommend the Blade Square as a product that you might be interested in if that's the kind of shopping that you're doing. So to encourage that a bit and also make this video as useful as possible, I wanted to give you my best possible recommendation for a good digital angle gauge, as I alluded to with that test setup earlier in the video. So let's build that setup first, and then I'll show you how I use it. All right, skipping just a couple steps, I'll show you how this works. Fits in like that, and then when you turn this little handle, the top contact point is extended by a small and easy to calculate amount. So, now we're ready for me to say, okay, let's start the test. Okay, so let's do this test. First thing, I have to turn these all on and get them zeroed. Okay, I got them all zeroed except for this one that keeps shutting off. I'm just going to disqualify it because it won't stay on, because that's annoying for you too. All right, so I'm going to turn this guy, and as I go around twice, that will be exactly 0.1 degrees. Okay, I need to clear something up. These gauges cost between $20 and $30 and are accurate to a tenth, or some of them a 20th of a degree, or that's what they're claiming at least. This one is $80. It's the ultra premium deal, accurate to a hundredth of a degree. That's what it claims, and spoiler alert, it's really good. From what I can see, it actually is that accurate. So that's what the gauges should pick up. So how do we do? Nailed it on the expensive one. It's kind of bouncing back and forth, 0.09, 0.1. It's very close. Klein got it. No affiliation with me, I wish. Q-Par, this one does pretty well for like a brand you haven't heard of. And the ones that are bad are just bad. This one keeps shutting off. Its accuracy is the worst anyway, so we'll just get rid of it. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so this should read 0.2. Nailed it on the expensive one. Oh, Klein, come on, you're always so good. Q-Par got it. These three. Now this one's reading too high, the others haven't registered yet. We can just say those are garbage. So disappointed in the Klein. Usually it does better. Let's see how much extra it needs. Why it's not picking it up? Huh. So that time the Klein needed an extra 50th of a degree. Did I do that math right? Yes, I did. Extra 50th of a degree to pick up the 0.2. That's still very good. In other tests, it's outperformed the Q-Par, which kind of body of it looks like a Klein clone. And now it should be 0.3. Klein's still lagging a 50th behind. So somehow the Klein got 50th behind. The expensive one's always good. And actually, that's interesting. The Klein is more closely matching the expensive one. So instead of the turns, I'm just going to use this as the gold standard. I'm going to go to 0.4. Okay, so right at this point, Q-Par gets it. Klein hasn't gotten it yet. 0.42, so, or 0.43. So yeah, for some reason, the Klein's lagging behind by 1/50th of a degree. But that's very good. And in another tests, it's outperformed this guy, but this guy's always been close. There's a reason why these three were at this end. They're all three very good. So these are the three that I'm going to give links for in the description. If you are in the market for a digital angle gauge, and especially if you want to pair it with a Bandsaw blade square, that would be amazing. Back to the video. I want to talk about one more place where the blade square is available for purchase, and that's KM Tools. I'm putting together a pretty deep partnership with Jonathan Katz-Moses and his company KM Tools. He's going to be an exclusive dealer for a lot of my products, and we've got a lot of other aspects of that collaboration happening. So quite a lot of cool stuff coming out from both of us. I gave him a preview of the video I was going to launch for the blade square, and he mentioned one thing that I didn't talk about, specifically that the throat plate is not perfectly flush with the table, and that makes it even more irritating and possibly inaccurate to use a standard square. So I wanted to mention that, but also give him credit because he's the one that brought it to my attention. To close this out, I want to talk about one more reason why I'm glad that the blade square is selling both through Amazon and KM Tools, and that's that it is made in the US. By a machine shop here in Denver. The owner is a friend of mine. He's helped on lots of other projects. Really excited to be able to be doing that. It's particularly hard to make something in the US hit a good price point, which I really believe that I've done, and have enough margin left for it to be a real product that can sell through other platforms, meaning that there's enough margin in there both for me and for the KM Tools and Amazon dealers and platforms that are selling it. That's a really hard trifecta to hit: price, US made, and margin to sell through dealers. Not easy to do. I actually think it's worth a full video. Destin did a video recently where he makes this grill brush entirely in the US, and just the design philosophy around that effort compared to the blade square, I think is a worthy topic for a full video. Anyway, let me know what you think of that, if you agree, if you'd like to see that. But I can say for certain that the trifecta of price and made in the US and able to sell through dealers, none of that would have happened without you watching these videos and caring about what I'm doing. So thank you for being here. Check out the blade square if you think that's something you'd be interested in, and thanks for watching.